Hello and welcome to DNA of the Soul, a podcast meant to explore the cultural impacts video games have both in and out of their subculture. Today, we're covering everyone's favorite 90s mascot who did not overstay his welcome, Crash Bandicoot. Before we begin, bandicoots are small, ground-dwelling marsupial mammals native to Australia, Tasmania, and New Guinea, belonging to the family Paramelidae. They are known for their long, slender noses and are often described as resembling small, rat-like creatures. I'm your host, Jaku Jaku, joined today by my co-hosts, Joe,
Jaku Jaku.
Matt,
Jaku Jaku.
and Kai.
I just want to say I legitimately didn't know a bandicoot was a real animal. I thought it was just a funny word they threw in the title. But anyway, continue.
We're also joined today by our lovely producer, Sayla, and a special guest for this cast, Miss VCR Bunny. V, would you like to
Sure.
introduce yourselves to our audience?
Yeah, my name's V. I stream on Twitch over at VCR Bunny. Yeah, I play a lot of retro video games and all that fun stuff.
Would you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, so she's a virtual bunny rabbit. She's currently trapped in the TV. To pass the time, though, she has hooked herself up to the internet, and that's where she streams.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
You just streamed Crash Bandicoot recently, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I had to replay the levels to prepare for this podcast.
Which ones did you replay?
I ended up going back because what I was trying to do was after you beat the game, you can go back and try to get 100%, which is where you go through every single level and you get all the boxes and you don't die, which is very difficult for me. So that's what I was trying to do. I was replaying some of the levels just to refresh my brain, but I was also replaying the levels to see if I could have them be 100% completed. I only managed to do one level though, so
That's all right. It's a hard game.
it really is.
All right, Matt, do we have any disclaimers before we begin our cast today?
We are about to spoil the entirety of this game, but otherwise, no, not really. It's not that much, but it's a fun game. Should play. 10 out of 10. Pretty short.
Pretty short, he says.
I still can't get over the fact
Yeah.
that bandicoots are real. I'm genuinely just sitting with that. I can't process
You're
I
that.
don't
shook?
think I knew that until a couple years ago as well. So you're not alone on that. I definitely thought they also weren't real.
No, but I really just thought it was like a random word that they just added to the title, and I was like, huh, that's
You
Kinda
probably
funny.
would have known that had you actually gone outside in Australia.
That sounds like a death sentence.
I was gonna say the amount of spiders. No, I'm good.
Crash Bandicoot was developed by Naughty Dog in 1996. It was executively produced by our boy, Sega champion Yuji Naka hater Mark Cerny, also the father of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and also another series named Jak and Daxter. He signed Naughty Dog for 3 games while he was working at Universal Studios Interactive, after they presented him with Way of the Warrior, a funny fighting game. He was the executive producers on Crash Bandicoots 1, 2, and Warped. He also worked as a designer for the latter 2, and very unfortunately, his time with Crash came to an end after the executives at Universal were putting together a Crash 4 and then ousted him from the project and then killed the project. Incredibly disappointing, and I believe that is a direct correlation to how much Crash fell off after Warped.
The game was originally born from a conversation between Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin in August 1994 as they moved from Boston, Massachusetts to Los Angeles, California. You know, when you're traveling across our country, it's an easy thing to talk about. It's like, hey, we can make a game.
They wrote an entire book about their journey in making Crash, and essentially they had jobs they'd gotten at Naughty Dog, and they moved all their stuff from Massachusetts because they were students at MIT, and on their way to their first day, so like the time they had before their first day there, they did a road trip cross-continent, and they made tech demos while they were traveling and came up with the general concepts for Crash, or what would become Crash. For example, the engine for Crash Bandicoot was developed near Gary, Indiana. I once dated a girl who came from Gary, Indiana. Yeah, I can understand how that would make you want to go crazy for a while.
What was she as nice as the Crash engine?
No, the Crash engine works a lot harder.
The game was developed using game-oriented object Lisp, which is a branch of the Lisp programming language. It's also known as Ghoul, so pretty spooky.
I am terrified.
Would anybody like to know anything about Lisp?
I know they use it in a lot of AI applications, right?
They do. It's specifically designed for processing lists. It's like the fast scripting language for tying lists of data together. And the vast majority of AI have their data inputs done as a big list of numbers.
Makes
And
sense.
they put this together for a game engine in the late 90s.
So they started AI.
Yes. Crash Bandicoot is the reason ChatGPT exists.
I don't think this is factual.
V, would you feature Crash GPT on a stream?
I don't know. As long as he says "whoa," that's fine.
Oh, just says he just uses his observation of the screen to say "whoa" at opportune moments.
Yep, absolutely.
I'd want him to also just at random throw a lump of fruit at the screen.
Oh, that could be fun. Yeah.
So there needed to be some graphical improvements. So developer Andy Gavin just cut up a bunch of chunks out of Sony's C library to just make room for more RAM. All that files and data stuff that was unimportant. You needed Crash to look crisp and polygonal for that great 1996 PlayStation 1 graphics.
He got smoother edges than Mario. That's all I'm gonna say. They put those extra RAM to good use.
Just download more RAM.
How many times do I have to tell you that doesn't work?
Did it, and it ate all of the grass in my yard.
Why? Okay, please move on.
Crash had quite impressive graphics, honestly, for 96. That was one of its huge selling points. The team that worked on it spent a ton of time designing the environments and the characters. V, what did you think about the environments?
Oh, I thought they were lovely. They were really lush and full of life. I remember being amazed. I was recently replaying one of the water levels, and you were in the river, and you had the water moving, and then you had all the plants and all the other creatures that were trying to kill you because it's Australia. But I was amazed by it because everything was moving, and it was all 3D too, which is crazy for the time.
My favorite animal that you run into in the Australian wilderness, as made apparent by Crash, is giant boulders.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I think they might be an invasive species, but we really don't know.
we don't know where they came from.
I think it's incredible that Crash came out 2 years before Metal Gear Solid 1, and I would argue it looks way better than Shadow Moses Island does. Maybe that's because they carved out that extra RAM, but it worked for them.
I mean, I know a lot of devs had to cut corners with the PS1. Like I know with the like Resident Evil, all the environments, like all the backgrounds are pre-rendered just so they could render the character models correctly.
Just download more RAM.
Moving on.
Metal Gear was also a bigger game than what was going to be Wizzy the Wombat or Wez or Wuzzles, because they really went through a lot of names before deciding to make him a Bandicoot.
No, these are fake news, right? They're not. That's not actually the names, right?
The marketing director of Universal Interactive insisted that they go with one of those 3 horrible names.
I am so glad they didn't because those are not good names at all.
Can you imagine Wizzy the Wombat Warped? Wizzy the Wombat Racing?
Wizzy the Wombat Warped actually works word wise, but just
Wizzy
Wizzy the Wombat does not sound good.
Wizzy the Wombat does not sound good, no. But you know what does sound good? Wiz the Titans. V, did you play with the boxes?
Yeah, I did play with them. Oh my god, there were so many boxes throughout the environment. There would be multiple crates visible on the screen at once, and they would all be filled with Wumpa fruits, which is crazy. They were really generous with the amount of Wumpa fruits that they had. You could easily complete a level and get extra life because you collected 100 of them.
Are you saying that collecting the Wumpa fruit was not the hard part of beating the level?
I mean, I know that might shock you, but yeah, that was not the hard part.
What?
I know. Well, the hard part of a Crash Bandicoot level is actually getting to the end. It's very difficult.
Childhood me would have no idea what you're talking about. It's not like he only got past the first level and maybe that because he was really bad at gaming.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, when it came to platformers when I was a kid, I could not play them. I was really bad. I had
Oh,
terrible
that's fair.
I had terrible depth perception. So I would never like
Oh
on the
yeah.
border levels, I would never make the jumps. I could not process. My brain just feels like, "Oh, I need to go this far," and I just never did every time.
Don't
Yeah.
let him fool you. He's terrible now too.
Hey, I mean, you're right, but hey,
The only platformer I've ever seen you succeed at is Okami. Calling that's a platformer is
I was about to say that's the
generous.
game, James.
Do you have a jump button? He has a jump button, right? Somebody back me up.
I
I
think so.
There's no
don't know.
button.
We'll just lie and be like, yeah, oh yeah, it definitely has a jump button.
Gaslight Matt.
There is technically a small amount of platforming, but it's not the point of the game.
The point of the game is to style on every single enemy with your giant paintbrush.
Correct.
You're gonna have to cover Okami at some point.
We will.
Apparently, watching Willy the Wombat crush things like those hundreds of boxes is what led to his name being changed to Crash Bandicoot. Because, yeah, that is in fact what he does, and he is super enthusiastic about doing it, which I personally think is his most charming character trait.
He is very excited.
The PlayStation 1 had severe graphical limitations, and part of those limitations were that they could not put like more than 2 or 3 enemies on the screen at the same time. And this is something you'll notice when you play Crash 1 is that you will usually only have 1 or 2 guys that you have to accommodate as you make your way through the stage. That was a graphical limitation of the PlayStation 1.
Wait, really?
Put in the boxes, yep, they couldn't render that many 3D models at the quality they were going for.
Huh. I had no idea.
So that's why they put in the boxes, because the boxes were there to give the player something to do between dealing with the enemies to help keep their adrenaline up.
Oh. Okay. That makes a lot of sense actually.
I would have never noticed the enemy limit until you just pointed it out, and you're totally right. There's like never really any enemies in it. That's crazy. I never would have processed that until now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, and usually they would have like one enemy, and then they would have like a box, and then they would also have a platforming section. There was never really a point in the game where they would throw multiple enemies at you all at once.
No, they kind of hid the limitations very well,
Oh yeah.
considering you don't really think about, there's not exactly 4 enemies on screen.
The game was first unveiled at the Electronic Entertainment Expo by its publisher Sony in May of 1996.
Moving on, 3 of the levels in the power plant area were originally going to be the first 3 levels of the game. Which, if you played it, you would know that that's a terrible idea.
It would have been a really bad idea.
I was thinking about this earlier because if you go and this might be a little bit of a spoiler for those who've never played the game, but you are a mutated bandicoot that escapes the lab and you have to like save everyone. Do you think that's what they were trying to do? Was that they were trying to make it like a prison break introduction to this platformer?
Probably. That would
I
make sense.
hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, that's probably how they were trying to frame it.
Too bad they made them way too stinking hard. Not that they spared the players from that, did they?
They eventually made the levels hard, really hard. Anyway, to circle back on a topic that we've already talked about on our podcast, Crash was released just a few months before Mario 64, which is a shame that he only got that long to live in the spotlight before the almighty plumber came in and BLJ'd all over the place, straight into our hearts.
I straight up don't think Crash would have been nearly as successful if he'd released 6 months later. I think he came out at exactly the right time.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, if he had come out any later, I think he would have just disappeared.
Yeah, I really think a lot of the PlayStation mascots had a hard time specifically because they didn't have the decade-long history that Mario had already had and that grip on pop culture he had back then. Mario had a cartoon with live action guests. That was cool.
And one of the best intros to a cartoon ever.
I'm still
Whoa!
swinging my arms from side to side to this day.
V, you most recently played Crash Bandicoot. Would you be so kind as to explain to us the scintillating story and
It
all of its
is.
twists
It is.
and turns?
Oh, it is full of twists, turns, plot twists. There's betrayals. There's really none of this because this was a video game that was made in what, like 1996? So it has a really basic story. Okay, so basically, you're just an ordinary Bandicoot, and you get kidnapped by this evil doctor. His name is Dr. Neo Cortex. We don't really know why he's evil, but he's evil and he's got like facial hair. Anyway, so he takes you, he mutates you. You are now this genetically enhanced, crazed lunatic with no neck, by the way. And you are determined to stop his evil plans because his plan is to somehow make Australia even more of a hospitable place to live by collecting all the animals and mutating them. And oh yeah, you also have a girlfriend who you were trying to rescue, but they really don't bring it up that much in the story.
So, like, are they in a committed relationship, or is this like a Mario Peach scenario where he's never getting any?
I mean, okay, you do okay. In order to save, you do have to get 3. You have to get head from your girlfriend. You have to find her little
Huh?
like head token in the boxes throughout the world, and that is the
Oh.
only time that you can save. By the way, so I would like to think that they are in a committed relationship because it is a consistent mechanic throughout the entire
Love,
game.
love literally saved him.
Oh yeah,
Boo.
absolutely.
So
Although
Tana does put out.
Oh
I
my
would
God.
say so. She definitely puts out. I mean, I don't think I've seen a more sexed up female like cartoon character with the exception of like Jessica Rabbit. Because
May I
my
offer
God, man,
your
she's
suggestions
packing
for one?
heat. I was like, damn.
Okay, have you
Hold on.
seen Candy Kong in DK64?
Stop.
That's what I was gonna say.
No, but I
Wait,
can look it
wait,
up right
wait,
now.
No,
hold
oh
on,
my-
wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
This is
hang
going
on.
Candy
so off
Kong
the
was-
rails.
Oh my
was
God.
Candy Kong based off of Tana? I need to know.
Oh my God. Okay,
It's
now
very
she
likely, isn't it?
Wow. I'm looking up Candy Kong right now. She's in much more skimpier clothing, which
Shh.
I didn't even think was possible.
I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
I just love to say, how did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
We
Oh boy.
We were discussing the plot of Crash Bandicoot. Hey,
Just like
listen,
Crash.
Peach only shows up like twice in a game, but Tana's there like every other level.
just like Crash, we've gone off the rails, baby.
Yeah.
Perfectly on flavor. I think we've covered the plot sufficiently. Like, really, that is the point of the plot of this game.
Yeah, there's not much.
Does Crash win? I hope.
Yes. And I don't know if I'll bring it up now or bring it up later, but there is a secret ending, which I think is like the official ending, in that it tells you the backstory. Well, not the backstory, the like where they are now for all of the bosses and all of like the main characters that you have encountered throughout the game. And I believe that is like the canonical ending. But either way, you basically just escape the evil factory on a hoverboard with, you and your hot Bandicoot GF, and then you just sail
Okay.
off into the sunset.
Okay, so Joe is the ending of Metal Gear Solid 1 based off of Crash Bandicoot.
I would say probably the Otacon ending because in that one you get the more romantic option.
Wait, what?
I ship Snake and Otacon. Fight me.
I need to replay that game again, I guess. Because
Which is
that
fine,
totally.
I promise.
I saved Meryl, so I guess I.
Yeah, no, just dump her. She doesn't matter. Whatever.
Okay, but she's Colonel Campbell. Never mind. Okay.
Bro ending.
She sleeps with Johnny Chan or whatever his name is.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's dumb.
Otacon.
Anyway, move on.
Move on to mechanics.
I think so, unless anybody wants to talk more about Tana.
Nope, I think I'm good.
You're good? All I'm saying is you mix that much crazy with that much Tana and you get one motivated marsupial. Crash Bandicoot is only capable of doing 2 actions in life: spinning and jumping. Both things you must do to break boxes. Those are the only things Mr. Bandicoot can do. That's it. That's his whole life. Jumping and spinning.
Do you
Spinning
need
and
anything else?
Honestly, I'm not convinced you do. I found a lot of people complaining that Crash was not a very inventive 3D game, and all I could think of reading them was, you guys didn't know a good thing when you had it, alright? I would kill for a game that artistically pure with mechanics that straightforward. So, are you kidding me? Crash would slap just as hard today as he did in 96.
And he does. I mean, those remakes, I played them recently. They're still just super fun. Like, you could kill 4 hours without even thinking.
Yeah, going off of the controls, by the way. So another thing I quickly realized is, okay, so I'm playing on a GameCube controller, which has the D-pad, but then it also has this newfangled thing called an analog stick. However, the controls were not set up for an analog stick, and I would be consistently missing jumps and not making precise movements because I was focused on trying to use the analog stick because that's what I was used to. But actually, for all of the Crash games, including the most recent one, Crash 4, it's designed to be you were supposed to use the D-pad because you need to have like really precise movements to do these jumps.
I will say, as a fun fact, Crash was developed before the analog stick was added to the
Yeah.
PlayStation controller.
When
So,
was the
ev-
Makes
DualShock 97?
Think it was 98. I would have to check.
It was August of 97. It's saying here.
Darn.
So close.
wow. Oh wow, that was close.
honestly, that also explains so much about my ability to jump and depth perception in this game. Because kid me never used the D-pad. I
Yeah.
hated the D-pad when I was a kid. So that explains
So
so much.
Mm-hmm.
the last time I touched a D-pad was to pull off Catwoman combos in Injustice 2
Ugh.
because they are
Oh, I
equally
missed
technical.
Injustice
I wish Omni-Man was an Injustice 2 character.
He's in Mortal Kombat.
I know. Which is an Injustice 2 game.
Yeah, basically. I want Injustice 3. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Warner
You
Bros. Is
One
broke.
versus 3.
Exactly. That's why they should
Multiversus
make
is the...
Injustice 3. Get some money back.
They don't have enough money to make Injustice 3.
But they...
so Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah.
it 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 starts out easy, like most games designed for kids. Kind of. This was still
No.
the 90s. The
Objectively,
difficult
no.
the games back
No.
then were harder than they are now, simply because they couldn't fit as much game into the game, so they had to pad out that playtime somehow by
Yeah.
making them more difficult.
By making
Again.
you want to throw your controller against cement until it explodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'd like to point out that kid me never got to the bosses of this game. Ever.
Oh.
That I was not good at platforming back then. And yeah, no, these games are, if you don't know what you're doing, they are a little difficult.
Speaking of the difficulty, hey V, how often can we save?
So I don't know. See, this is a question I have for you guys because I was playing this game and I was like, man, this is an absolute backwards decision. I don't know why you'd make this decision. So in Crash Bandicoot, the original one for PS1, you can only save at certain levels by collecting 3 head icons of your super hot girlfriend. There's 3 of them in not every single level, but maybe like every other level. I'm not entirely too sure the frequency of these. However, when you collect all 3 of them, it's not a guarantee that you save, by the way. You have to beat this bonus stage, which can be very difficult because there's a lot of boxes. God help you if you fall off because you're done. Like, you can't go back to that bonus level unless you restart the entire level and play it over again. So the only way to save in this game that is built like within the game is to collect all 3 tokens of your girlfriend's head, complete the bonus stage, and then at the very end of that bonus stage, you are able to save. But it's not a guarantee that it's there every single level, and it's
Games,
really frustrating.
they really wanted this game to be, okay, you're going to play this a lot if you don't get to a save point.
I think they were just trying to trauma bond you to Tana.
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh, yeah, no, the game is just, when it comes to saving back then, when were, we didn't have like, no, we had auto saving at that point. Not auto saving, just like save points, size levels. It was a kind of an interesting decision to just have it be specifically after bonus levels to be your saving.
What about the checkpoints?
They were pretty consistent. I will say this: there were a couple levels where I'd be playing for what felt like 5 minutes, which for a Crash level, that's pretty long. I feel like most of them last like 3 to 4 minutes, I think. But there were some levels where I wouldn't see a checkpoint for a good like 2 minutes, and I'd get really nervous because they're usually pretty good about spacing their checkpoints out. So there's like a checkpoint like in the first half and then in the second half. And yeah, there were a couple levels that were just so long, like so long. Like one of the worst levels I had the misfortune of playing through was Sunset Vista. You come across it in the second world, which is like the second Wumpa Island, by the way. And I forget if they have actual names. I think they might. But regardless, out of nowhere comes this incredibly long, incredibly grueling level when you were in the middle of a game, and it genuinely felt like it was supposed to be in the third island, but they couldn't fit it in. The difficulty spike in that level was pretty crazy. Like it took me multiple days of streaming that level to finish it. And I was not the kind of person to use save states in between a level, like, as in, I wasn't gonna use a save state in the middle of a level. I was gonna use save states so I could save after every single level, because I think their original idea of having saves only be for bonus stages was a really, I don't wanna say idiotic decision, but it's one of those decisions I think has not held up well over time.
Let's go with interesting decision.
It was a very, very interesting decision, and I have no idea if there was any reason they made it. Because one thing I didn't know, I couldn't tell, is were they trying to pad out the game with that level? With like you're not able to save at every single level.
Probably. Is that how saving worked in the remake?
No, you could just save in the menu at any
Okay.
time.
Quality of life updates. Thank you.
Weak.
I will say this. I feel like I was a bit of an outlier when I was playing this game, because so in Crash Bandicoot there are several infamously hard levels, and apparently the bridge levels are notoriously difficult and really hard. And I don't know what happened, but I didn't struggle with them. Like, they were still difficult, don't get me wrong, but I was not constantly, like, I wasn't getting frustrated with them. It was more of a challenge, but I could feel myself progressing each and every time. So I think the hardest bridge level in the game is Road to Nowhere. That's on the third island. That is really difficult, I think, because there are several jumps where you have to hit a turtle. So you have to flip the turtle over on its back to expose like the what is it? The belly, and you jump up and down. And then so you have enough height to make these gaps, because the bridge levels, they're set up in which there's these ginormous gaps, and there's this little itty bitty tiny plank of wood that you stand on for 1 second, and that's all the time you get, because then it immediately breaks. It's like a breakaway platform. It is such a challenge, but I felt like the repetitiveness of it made it a lot easier to complete it, because it wasn't like Sunset Vista or some of the other more difficult levels, because it was the same thing over and over again. It was very like repetitive, and also for some reason there were like wild boars that were stuck on these bridges. Yeah, I'm not too sure where the boars came from, but I don't know, man. Oh, also fun fact, you are able to clear most of these bridge levels if you hop on the rope and you walk across. I didn't do that because I wanted to beat the level as it was intended. Another really difficult level that didn't need to be difficult at all was toxic waste. It's like the third level in the third world. This is like where you're approaching the big bad. You see Dr. Cortex's, you see his like industrial waste facility, which I'm assuming was like nuclear power, but they don't really explain what it was. And it's a really simple level. When I explain it, it sounds so simple. And you're like, how did you keep dying on this level? This isn't that hard. Like, are you just bad at games? And I am. But it's such a hard level because basic mechanic of this level, and by the way, this is the only time this mechanic shows up. It never shows up in any other level, thank God. So there are these mob bosses. I forget what animal they are, but they're some sort of Australian marsupial. Like, they're literally dressed as like their mob bosses. So they throw these barrels at you. There are two types of barrels. By the way, sorry, you're in a hallway and there are very few platforms that you can step aside and escape these barrels. Most of the time, you have to jump over or hope and pray that it doesn't hit you. You really don't have a lot of defenses against these barrels. So you're locked into this hallway. You see all of these barrels coming towards you. There's two types of barrels. There's the regular ones that just roll. You can easily jump over them. However, in like the second half of the level, they throw these bouncing barrels at you, and they are by far the hardest obstacles I've ever encountered in a video game because you are going forwards into space. So like it's not a side scrolling platform. It's like you're going into perspective, if that makes sense. Like you're going closer to the horizon line. And you have no sense of depth perception at all for where these bouncing barrels are coming at. The only way I was able to beat this level is through sheer memorization of me figuring out where do I need to stand in this level to allow the bouncing barrels to simply bounce over me. And it was beyond frustrating. That was by far the most frustrating level I've ever experienced in Crash. All the other levels were totally fair.
I feel like that's a symptom of like just older games in general, trying to be like,
Mhm.
yes, we want you to play this level a lot to memorize it, because that is another way to pad out game time,
Yeah.
make it feel longer. Is you're like, okay, the challenge of this level is not doing it, it's remembering it.
I think that Crash. Hey, editing JJ here. I have no earthly idea what this argument was supposed to mean or where it was coming from. I was trying to say that the games back then were made to be difficult because they expected adults to also be buying the games. I have no idea what that has to do with a turn-based RPG like Legend of Dragoon or Shin Megami Tensei, but here you go. Is more of a symptom of they were trying to make a level that was fun for them as adults. They were not explicitly designing it for kids. I think probably what happened was that they had somebody come in later, like we discussed earlier, where they said, "Hey, this is Willie the Wombat here. It's supposed to be a big hit with the kids. Why is he having to jump over barrels with pin perfect timing? I couldn't do that hardly. What luck does Jimmy over here have?" You see that with a lot of PS1 era games. Another one that always comes to mind for me is RoboPit 2. It's not a game that's trying to be hard. It has a ton of content, but just the way the game was designed, they expected you to be an adult. They expected you to play it like you were experienced with Shin Megami Tensei and Dragon Quest, however many there are now.
Castlevania.
Yeah, they expected people that were playing it were the ones that beat Castlevania. They wanted capital G gamers to play their video games.
Are you saying that you think Crash was developed similarly?
Yeah, it had a similar thrust in mind, but Crash, I think, unlike games like RoboPit, was actually designed with a bit of its target audience in mind, where they went, okay, we're gonna keep all those mechanics that make the game really hard in the later levels, but we're gonna make the earlier levels hard but fair. So that if a kid tries hard enough, he can get through them. And if he tries really hard and he's memorized everything, maybe he can clear the back half too, once he's warmed up enough. Or she.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
One thing I want to add while we're talking about the level design is that in the remake for the original Crash Bandicoot, they had moved the game engine over to the updated version that was in Crash 2 and 3.
Yeah,
Which
I'd heard about that.
for Crash Bandicoot 1, what that meant was that in the PlayStation 1 release, you could jump and then maneuver yourself in the air. In the updated version, you couldn't do that, which made a lot of the bridge levels harder in the remake than they were in the original release.
So they went backwards and gave it old Castlevania controls in the remakes.
Yeah, you had to get momentum from
Funny.
running to move. Really unfortunate for the levels that had been designed for that jump then move.
Almost like stapling something onto a game that was never meant to be there is a bad idea. Anyway, I'm gonna have more takes that blow your mind in a second here. One of the streams, I am a fan of these. One of the streams that I caught of her performing, I'm gonna say performing, but it's more, let's say playing Crash Bandicoot.
Dying
He was having,
repeatedly. Yeah.
She was having a lot of trouble dealing with these platforms that would push in and out seemingly at random, and she was trying to navigate. After a while of watching them, she realized, wait a minute, it's on a cycle. The platforms all move on a cycle, either 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. And I got to see this live where once she realized that, she was suddenly able to click through the game a lot faster, because whenever she'd get one of those alternating puzzles, she just would start counting them over and over again. Finally, we have the boss fights.
Honestly, all the boss fights were around the same level of difficulty, with, I think, the exception of the second one that you encounter, which is Ripperoo. And I believe he's a kangaroo, but I think originally, for some reason, I thought he was a dog. And I think I thought he was a dog because of the name Roo. Like, I thought it was like short for like Rover or something. I don't know how I made that connection, but I think he's like a blue crazy kangaroo. He's like in a straitjacket. He's got massive claws. The layout for the boss fight is it's like a 6x6. Well, no, sorry. I can't do math. It's a 3x3 grid. So there's three platforms going one way and then 3 platforms the other way. And it's like a grid. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this. However, the important thing is that, so in between all of these platforms is water. If you jump into the water accidentally, you die. Ripperoo is jumping around on these platforms. And the only way to deal damage is there are these boxes of TNT, specifically big TNT, which we never see again, by the way. This is the only stage in which they have specialty designed humongous TNT. Why? I have no idea. But so the only way to kill him is to jump on these TNT boxes, which are timed, and you have to time it right to where when the TNT box explodes, Ripperoo is standing next to the TNT on that platform. I do not remember how often I died to him, but it was a lot. It was really painful. The only way I was able to defeat Ripperoo is because he's on a cycle. It was the same pattern every single time. It would be the same boxes that would come down. And without that cycle, I don't think I would have been able to really defeat him. Like it was genuinely the hardest boss of that game.
The description that you're giving kind of reminds me of the third boss from Donkey Kong 64, where you're jumping around platform to platform and they're following you, and you have to hit like certain buttons in when they're at a certain point to like time it. And it's like considered one of the harder bosses in the game, where it's just like the timing of being chased around on like a small area platform where falling down means you're gonna die is it's a very good way to make your players feel panic, even if they don't need for game design. It makes the level feel like, oh, this is hard. I need to be panicked. I'm being chased.
Yeah, it definitely felt like you were doing 2 things at one time, and that was really difficult for me because I'm not like a gamer, you know. I was struggling with every single level. Like every single level I died at least 10 times.
I'd say you're a gamer. I mean, you beat Crash Bandicoot.
That's true. I did beat Crash
You have become
Bandicoot.
gamer. Level up. Bum, bum,
However,
bum.
I do need to ask you what this thing in my notes says about Koala Kong's hotness. Can you please elaborate for the audience?
Yeah, okay, so he's built like, I don't know, like a really hot guy. He's like his upper frame is like 3 times the width of like Crash's frame, but Crash is already built like a Dorito that wears pants and fingerless gloves and shoes. But
That is the
strangely
best
no shoes.
description of him I've ever heard.
That's what he looks like. He's a Dorito
I mean, you're totally
with
right. I've
life.
just never heard that. That is perfect. Dorito with pants and fingerless gloves. Yeah, that should be the title of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Having looked up Koala Kong, man is just a triangle.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
was about to say that myself. I just looked him up. He is a full-on triangle.
Oh my god.
I will say the new model for him looks way better than the old one.
Wait,
He
really?
looks
Hold up. I
buff
gotta
as
look
the
this
new
up right
one.
now. This is very important. Well, definitely for research. Oh my god.
Yeah, just for research purposes, for the quality of our show.
Oh, of course. Oh my god. They made me
Joe,
feel.
she
Oh
does
my
that
god.
whole-
How did he find a shirt that fit? Oh my god. Wow.
You can go
Okay.
to special tailoring shops to get anything fitted to your triangular body.
That would not surprise me. Oh, does everyone in the Crash Bandicoot world have their own tailor?
I bet it's just one guy. It's probably like one silk spider that handles everybody's clothes.
One silk spider. I could see that. Also,
Oh,
worth noting in the boss battle for Qualicong, for some reason, and I really don't know why they did this, because his move is already telegraphed well enough. So yeah, with the Qualicong boss stage, you're like in a mine shaft, and there are these minecarts that go by, and he will take these minecarts and like throw them at you, essentially. But I don't know why the animators decided to put this into the game. Before he does this, he turns around and I kid you not, shakes his butt at you and then picks up the rocks and starts chucking them at you. I was so distracted by that, like the entire time playing that boss level.
Classic 90's game.
It was a
I just-
diversion. It was probably on purpose.
You know what? That's probably what they did.
I think he watched too much Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. He wanted animation's sexiest fat man, and by God, they got it. So, somehow, some way, we will move on from this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Are
the
you
second
done
time we've
Allow
explaining?
me.
On a horny tangent. Anyway,
The Aku Aku mask is Crash's power up that he can collect up to 3 of, and every time he grabs it, it says Woodabaga.
Woodwiga.
So, upon grabbing your third Aku Aku mask, Crash enters a Starman like state where he is invincible and can just barge through anything he wants except platforming deaths. But enemies are nothing.
99% of the challenge.
Yeah, but now you don't have to worry about enemies while you're invincible, which would make the platforming easier.
It was probably a lot more fun in Crash Warped when you had a game engine that could support that many enemies.
You know, more than 2 at a time.
I think it's time for us to reach our trivia section, yes. Crash Bandicoot has been developed by Naughty Dog, Traveler's Tales, Vicarious Visions, Radical Entertainment, and Toys for Bob. Bob
That name
being
should send a
responsible-
shiver down your spine if you were paying attention in the 2010s, because those are the reason we have Skylanders and the reason Spyro died.
I miss Spyro.
Toys for Bob.
Yes, Toys for Bob.
Crash, as we discussed earlier, was a genetically enhanced Bandicoot, and this kind of makes him Cortex's kid.
I don't know. I feel like there's a weird unexplored relationship there. They kind of explored a little bit in the later games how he's basically responsible for Crash and how Crash doesn't like. I don't think Crash really hates him. I don't know if Crash is able to understand the concept of hate, honestly.
Does he have enough brain cells to understand concept besides woe and Wombas and girlfriend?
What else does a man need in life?
This is a fair point. The fact that he is Australian is repeated numerous times in marketing, which is kind of funny. It's not like it's not obvious if you know what a Bandicoot is.
I said I'm
But,
sorry.
But like all the ads went out of their way to point out one way or another that he was Australian. Like it was some kind of continuous joke.
It probably was for the people doing marketing.
I don't know how to put this gracefully, but the game was originally codenamed Sonic's Ass Game due to the camera angle being behind him. Thus, you saw his ass.
Classy.
I think they should have stuck with that, honestly. I think that could have just been the title.
Sega
I
might have
think
had a
it was
thing or
for
two to
millions.
say about it. They probably got the S card from Mark Cerny.
It could have been a collab with the restaurant. Then it would have been different. Then it would have been fine.
I need a Crash Bandicoot ad for Sonic.
Yes.
Not the Hedgehog, the restaurant.
Crash Bandicoot's hiatus was started by Radical Entertainment wanting to develop Prototype 2 instead of Crash Has Landed, an origin story game.
So we can blame Alex Mercer for Crash Bandicoot's hiatus.
No, this was Prototype 2. This was the other one.
I thought
Whose
he
name
was
everyone knows.
into.
Oh, he's into, but he's like the antagonist.
Oh, weird. I only played the
He
first one.
inflicts you
We can
with
still
the
blame him.
prototype enzyme thing.
Oh, weird.
Prototype 2 was the one I played. Big fun. My laptop could not handle it.
Well, speaking of lacking Crash Bandicoot, in 2014 there was a canceled game that would have been named Crash and Burn, and this would have been Crash 4 before the actual Crash 4 that came out. So it's unfortunate that it never saw the light of day, but
I would have liked more Crash Bandicoot.
Crash has struggled mightily over the years. Which, like, look at the man. He shouldn't struggle with anything beyond putting on his own pants.
with his Dorito body.
Hey, putting on pants is real hard.
I'm just like any
have
other
to
guy. I put
stand
my
up.
pants on one leg at a time.
I'm just like any other guy. I put my pants 2 legs on at a time because that's optimal.
I'm just like any other guy. I put my pants on because I let people that I pay do it for me instead.
Team
Yeah, but-
Rumble was the last game published by Activision Blizzard before they were acquired by Microsoft, which was a debatably great thing because god damn Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, this is not a
Like
channel
that-
that supports or appreciates Bobby Kotick. We are Overwatch fans, and therefore we are obliged to hate this man's guts. This is the guy who basically hated Overwatch because it wasn't his idea, and then spent the entirety of Overwatch's lifespan denying them any money outside of what they earn themselves. He sucks.
Okay, yeah, so we hate
He
that.
is awful.
To quote Bobby Kotick, we're going to take the fun out of gaming.
That's an awful quote.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
You saying that guy shouldn't be the head of a game studio?
Microsoft, we're relying on Microsoft to fix something. We're relying on the guys that purposefully DDoS computers. Not DDoS, that's the wrong word. Crashed computers if you were running Windows.
Wait, they crash
Hate
computers?
Microsoft. Yes, they crashed Bandicooted all those computers. They crashed them harder than anything he ever did. And every time one of the boxes exploded, they went, "Whoa," and the computer died. And they willingly released this to the public, knowingly. They were convicted in federal court. Those are the people we're hoping fix Activision Blizzard.
I just like to point out the fact that I use Linux and am better than all of you. Anyway, continue.
Yes, but 99% of the world uses Microsoft. It's like paying your taxes. You just kind of have to do it if you want to survive.
Well, then I'm just great at tax evasion.
I was going to say, you don't pay taxes either, do you?
Moving on.
All right. I only have a single noted discussion point for this episode, and it's because it is the single most charming thing about Crash Bandicoot. Who here is familiar with the Crash Bandicoot ads
Like the
Me.
TV ads?
and the magazine ads?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too familiar. I've seen like a couple.
Oh, you all are in for a treat.
I'm scared.
I'm now
You
going to
should be.
share with you my personal favorite Crash ads through the years. So here's one for Crash Bandicoot 3. Can y'all see it?
Oh my god.
That was for Crash
What?
4, actually.
That's terrifying.
Oh,
Crash
yeah.
Bandicoot showing up at the gender reveal party for your baby. I
I hate this.
Yeah.
Hold on. I've got another one from the 2000s. here.
Bandicoot.
Congrats, it's a Bandicoot.
But yeah, that's cursed.
That's like the tip of the iceberg. We can get
Yeah,
so much worse.
I was about
This-
to say, I'm like, I've seen those ads. This one is honestly probably one of the most
This is
tamest
a tame
ad I've
one?
seen. Oh, very
Oh,
tame.
God. I'm scared.
This was recent. The 90s were probably a much more depraved wasteland.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
I'm
I
just
didn't
gonna make it
exist.
easier
so-
for everybody to see them by posting them in our
Mm.
Oh my lord.
more Bandicoot than you
Oh
ever
my
hope to
God.
see in a lifetime.
Wait, it's.
For the audience that can't see things,
Oh dear God!
Wait, I
Oh,
can't
don't
see
worry,
things
they'll be able
either.
to see
It's
it.
in general.
Don't
Or not-
worry, they'll be able to see it, and you will too. You should have the ability to see it currently.
I don't see anything.
Oh, that's awful.
Let me
Oh, no,
put
you
it.
don't.
Oh
Interesting.
no, it's not. It's not in general. It's in.
Yeah, I'll put it here for you.
Oh!
There.
I've seen this one
Ugh.
before. Yeah,
I feel like that's something you see before you die.
Oh,
I think I'd want to die after seeing that. But I
Yeah.
mean, listen,
Yeah.
the
Crash comes into your room. Hello.
There's a
it's time to
specific
go.
one. There's a very specific one I'm trying to find.
I
Oh,
think
no.
I might
It's
know
my
the one you're talking
favorite.
about.
It's
don't-
when he's walking into the men's bathroom.
Oh God!
Oh,
Oh, I don't
Lord.
know that one.
Imagine
I'm
you're
trying to
just-
find
You're
it.
just in there, and then you hear the door open, and in the mirror you just see a giant 6.5-foot Crash Bandicoot behind you.
Do we?
They did that
Whoa!
with some of their ads.
Oh my
There's a
God.
very famous television ad of them dissing the American branch of Nintendo's
Oh,
main
yeah.
office, where he's like flipping them off and basically saying, "Hey Mario, I'm coming for you.
Oh my
It's gonna happen soon."
I actually remember this ad. This is the one I actually remember, like really well. That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
I found another one of them.
I'm scared.
It's in
Oh
this
God.
It's Crash's toughest adventure yet.
Wait, where is it?
I'm not seeing it.
In the voice chat,
Well, only I in
text chat.
Interesting. I'll post it in general too. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
There.
Oh, I've seen
so
it. Yeah,
sorry
with
for
his
singing
ass
so
cheeks
well.
out. Yeah.
Oh my god. I did not. That is
Just
not.
walking my way.
I did not need
Yeah.
that. I didn't need any
There's
of that.
also
They're backless.
the tattoo ad. Like
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
when he came to Xbox, yeah.
Hold on. I need to
Uh-huh.
know an important thing. Who do you think is the man behind the mask?
Yuji Naka.
Some intern that they didn't pay enough.
Maybe.
I really
I was
hope
about
it's
to say,
just
how
Mark
much were they
Cerny.
not paid enough to be that person?
Oh, right. And then there's one more that's also incredibly infamous. Although I don't remember if this one is real. I'm pretty sure it is, though. Is this one real? I'm pretty sure this one's real. It's the Crash GameCube ad. This is probably the most infamous one he's got.
Oh god.
He's got to have them all.
What?
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
available on Nintendo GameCube.
Crash has got
That's
that
crazy
Riz,
that
baby.
was allowed to be
Oh,
printed.
yeah.
Nintendo greenlit this?
Early 2000s were a
probably
different
not.
time, buddy.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know
not
if they...
inside Nintendo Power.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't think in Nintendo Power, but in every other game
Holy
magazine,
crap.
probably.
Good
That's
old Game
awesome.
Informer.
Gotta have them all.
It was a different time.
Oh,
Truly.
it really was.
That is very true.
Cortanda.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, Nintendo put in Candy Kong, so like, sure.
They did not. Rare
This is the
Entertainment
sequel.
did that, and you know
That
it.
was rare.
Yes, that was rare, but Nintendo greenlit it.
Yeah, they did.
I'll be honest. I doubt Nintendo played far enough into the game to see Candy Kong.
That would not surprise me. That game is not easy.
I mean, there's a reason they don't even acknowledge that character's existence anymore.
You never know when to expect when you're expecting. Moving on.
What were
We're
those
now going
words?
to. There's another one where Crash interrupts a dude in the middle of doing the dirty, and he's like,
Oh.
"You need to come play my game."
Oh,
V, will you
my
tell us
God.
about the rest of it?
Is this the television ad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we were watching a compilation of them on stream yesterday. And oh my god. I could talk about the attitudes of like these advertisements, but they were always like in your face. They're like, we're better than you. You know, you're wasting your time not being with me. In a weird way, it was almost like a crazy ex-girlfriend, but it was a video game. So anyway, this advertisement. We opening shot. Crash pulls up to this guy's house. Crash somehow, well, I guess he never got his driver's license. Somehow he knows how to operate a vehicle. He has a like weird sketchy pickup truck. He's pulling up to this guy's house in the middle of the night. You know, it's probably like, I don't know, midnight, whatever. Pulls out a megaphone, starts talking mad crap to this dude. This dude is with another woman, by the way. Like we barely see her, but you can tell they're like they were about to get hot and heavy. Crash interrupts this. He cockblocks this man and is like, "Hey, come play my video game, bro." And then pulls back the tarp that was hiding all of the TVs that showcased all of the games that the PlayStation 1 could play at the time. So it was like Crash Bandicoot, Destruction Derby 2, and then like a couple like sports titles. And then the guy like threatens to beat Crash up, and that's how the advertisement ends. He goes to some dude's house, harasses him, and then leaves.
The guy doesn't even play the games?
No!
He just
My
oh my god.
Oh, that's
my
perfect.
favorite part.
Oh my god, I found it.
Yeah, it's really funny.
My favorite part of that ad is that it opens up with his human hand crossing a name off a list.
Oh, I forgot about that. The hit list. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Crash Bandicoot. Everyone was a hit.
I found the one where he's flipping off Nintendo of America's building.
Yep.
Oh my god.
He gets hauled away by a cop at the end. He's like, "Bandicoot, is that Australian?"
Thank you, advertising of the 90s. Thank you very much.
So we are now, right? Things are so much more fun. Moving on to the scoring, finally. Here at DNA of the Soul, we try our best to analyze a game's impact through a cultural lens. This means that the more impact a game has had to society at large, the more points we will award it under our rating system. For each game we review, we will give it a score under this system. For these scores, we do not consider things like the quality of the game, whether it's fun or not, how many cool mods it's been given over the years, or its popularity just among the fan base of its particular genre. What we do consider, things like product placement, the shows and movies the game's had over the years, its major updates, total number of sales, and how many people started gaming because of that game. Our system contains 4 categories to be scored: before the game's release, during it, after it, and now. Each category is worth more points than the last. Each point in a category is worth more points than the previous point. Each category can earn a maximum of 5 points, with rare exceptions. Here are the values each point in each category is worth. The total points from each are tallied along with the number of bonus stars to reach the final score. Each bonus star is worth 50 points. There are 6 bonus stars in total. One of those stars is our personal tastes. In the end, whether a game is good or not to us should only sway the final score by 50 points. The bonus stars are as follows: studio support, personal taste, creative contributions, headlines, organized play, and unintended enjoyment.
So in the before category, this game is going to receive a 1. The game looks very good for the time, back when most PS1 characters were polygonal messes like Snake and Mario. Crash and his characters were bluntly a lot smoother. The game looked good, it was well advertised, and debuted at E3, but Crash and Naughty Dog had no lead up. This was their first. So
You could say he crashed the party, and that's my one bad pun for the day.
For the during category, Crash got a 5 because Crash sold 6 million units. It was the
Oh.
number 1 selling game on the PS1 in the US, and it was also commercially successful in Japan.
That's
That-
like the first time this
fact.
has happened on our show, that the Eastern audience has enjoyed a Western title. Was noted for in how much they enjoyed it.
For the then category, Crash is going to get a 3. The game was remastered in 2017. Crash's legacy was strong for the first good while after his life, but really fell off around the 2011s. But he did make his return. There were also a series of animated shorts that were created to Crash of the Titans in 2007. They have an IMDb rating of 8.5.
Hold on, I need to double check real quick what the Star Wars new movies IMDb scores are.
Oh, they're lower.
IMDb
Don't
is
worry.
The Last Jedi. All right, so Crash of the Titans animated shorts score 1.5 stars higher than Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Go Crash Bandicoot.
All right. Hey, Crash of the Titans was an amazing name for a game, and the game was honestly pretty fun. Finally, for the now category, Crash has earned a 3 as well. Now, Crash has enough of a reputation that it's likely for the average person to recognize him. It's possible they'd recognize Aku Aku or Cortez's face, or just Crash himself. He was super 90s, but he wasn't like constantly in your face. Crash's games were a lot more about the games themselves, I would say. Like, yeah, his advertisement campaigns were wild. He has a lot of character, but he kind of got kicked around from studio to studio. He's been with at least 5 so far, and he hasn't really made any large splashes since, I would argue, Crash in Time. He did have Crash Team Rumble in 2023, but that game released to mixed reviews, and we talked about the latest Crash racing game earlier and how you could beat Crash 1 racing game in the time it takes for the new one to load, which yeah, that's not good.
To be clear, it is beating the original Crash Bandicoot racing game in the time that it takes the remake of that game's loading screens to happen. Like, I watched a guy literally play the new one. Whenever the loading screens would come up, he'd put down the controller, pick up the controller for the original game, and play through it. And at any point that the game stopped loading for the new one, he would put down the controller and start playing the new one. And he could beat the original one and the time it took for the new one to load, which is really bad.
Most people who are aware of video games have seen his crazy marsupial head here and there. And so it did earn a 3 in this category, which it is the strongest category of the 4. And I think that is a strong reflection of what gets a game a lot of points within our system. Recognizability is everything. Brings us to our bonus stars. So Crash Bandicoot 1 has earned the Studio Support Star. The development of the sequel began almost immediately. The Insane Remaster was released in 2017. There's a Skylanders figure of Crash Bandicoot. I'm sure my cast is very disheartened to hear. The various studios that have owned Crash have loved him off and on, I would say. But they have loved him.
It's a weird love-hate relationship, but they do love him.
Moving on, Crash has also earned the Unintended Enjoyment Star. The speedrun record for Crash Bandicoot was set last year at 39 minutes and 39 seconds. V, does that dishearten you?
Oh, absolutely. I did look up what the speedrunning was last night because I was curious. I was like, I wonder if there's any like exploits, and I don't think there is. It's a fairly straight ahead speedrun.
Crash just runs from one end of the game to the other.
Yeah, basically.
It has been Crash Bandicoot 1 has also been played at GDQ 7 times between its original and remaster, also known as Games Done Quick. Crash has also earned the Creative Contribution Star. So things like the Aku Aku mask, Crash's head, the sound of him grabbing apples, his infinite weird noises he makes, the sound that his dynamite makes when it ticks down. I've heard that in multiple places over the years. Cortez's design. And it just has a lot of iconic characters in general. You recognize Crash and his aesthetic at a glance, even if he has a funny Dorito. As far as headlines go, I was quite surprised to find out that nobody really commented on how crazy his advertisements were at the time, which I guess we just kind of accepted bizarre stuff like that in the late 90s.
Welcome to the 90s.
Right? Like, if you did that today, you'd be like Wendy's and go viral. But back then, he was fighting for, like, headlines of recommendations against Metal Gear Solid and all kinds of other things. People were like, yeah, you should go play Crash, but they didn't ever comment on any of the crazy stuff we just talked about and looked up. So it does not earn the headline star.
The 90s commercials for games in general are crazy. Go look up Smash Bros.'s commercial for TV sometimes. They're just wild. They remind me of like 2010 Vine craziness in how they are, and it's just impressive that we still went back to that today.
And then finally, Crash Bandicoot has earned the Personal Taste Star. I don't think there's any disagreement of that between my co-hosts and guests today.
Yeah, the game's great.
I liked it.
B, would you play it again sometime?
That's an excellent question. If I want a challenge, I'd play it again.
It's a good game. It was a fun game. So, Crash Bandicoot has earned a score of 1,782 points. Here are where our scores stand today, which I think is an apt position to be in. The Virgil gap is growing. Yes, I forgot to mention that coming into our cast today. We needed to double check if there were any Virgils on the credits for Crash Bandicoot 1.
Looking up
None
right
came up
now.
in my research. So, once again, thank you all for joining me today. V, thank you so much for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure if you're on Twitch, dear viewer, that you give her a follow. You can find a link to her channel in the video's description.